Why do you do that? Every time I press record, the little image gets smaller. So I don't know if you guys are gonna see. Okay, I hope that's all right. If it's not, I apologize. Welcome back, you guys. Today I'm gonna be doing a get ready with me, which is not really one that I've done before. It's one that I've filmed before and then I just never uploaded. It's one of the many videos I filmed while we were at my parents' that I never uploaded. And I've also been getting a lot of questions on my last couple of videos. I thought that I would try and answer a few of those questions while I'm getting ready this morning. We're actually going out to meet with my dad for breakfast because my mum's been away on a girls' weekend this weekend. So he sent me a message last night and asked if we would like to go out this morning, which I'm super keen to do because I actually really miss my parents after we lived with them for 15 months while we were building this house. It was obviously something that was really difficult and we all could not wait to get out. Like, I'm sure my parents wanted us out. We wanted to sort of get in our own space and be our own family. As much as I love my parents and they're so supportive, I think you just need your own family space, you know? So obviously it was full on living there. But now that we're in our own home, I do tend to miss them. Like, there was a period there where we were like, yeah, we just sort of need to have a bit of space, and mum and dad were sort of going out and doing their little weekend dates and things like that. But now we're at a point where I can tell that mum and dad are really missing the kids, and so we're trying to see them most weekends, but we don't always. And it gets so hard when you have kids that go to school and then suddenly you have all these school things on and you don't get to see the parents anymore, the grandparents anymore. So it is like something that's an effort, but also it really pays off. And I know my parents are so grateful that they had that time when we were living there, as difficult as it was, that they really got to spend that time with the kids before they get older and they have a lot of these things on the weekends that take up their time, and visits become a little less frequent. So yes, long story short, we're gonna go and meet up with dad for some brekkie. And I'm not entirely sure where we're going yet, but it will be somewhere local. So I figured I might just freshen up my face a little bit and put on a little bit of makeup. I really am digging at the moment, like the really fresh-faced, glowy, no makeup. So I want to lean more towards that, especially considering we're now moving into summer. And is this just me, or whenever you just get hot, like wearing makeup on your face makes you so much hotter? I don't know if that's just me. I don't know if anyone else can relate, but when I'm wearing makeup on my face and it's hot, I feel like I'm going through menopause or something. Like I'm just a sweaty mess. So I want to be able to do something that's a little more lightweight and manageable this summer, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've just kicked it off by putting a little bit of hyaluronic acid on by The Ordinary. I had a facial the other day and she was using hyaluronic acid and said it's particularly good for me because I do have dry skin, and I did get extremely dry skin over the winter period. So just to get a little bit more like hydration into my skin, and honestly, like I put it on and then my skin soaks it up straight away. Like my skin really needs a little more hydration into it. So I'm trying to be good, trying to do moisturizer every day. I wear a day and a night cream now, and I'm doing the hyaluronic acid, and I think I want to get a marula oil as well. I don't know if anyone is using marula oil, let me know, but I've heard lots of good things about it, so I thought I might add that into my regime as well. Oh, and toner, and I'm making sure to cleanse every day as well. So really want to focus this summer on just getting my skin nice and hydrated. Anyway, moving on, this is the MAC Face and Body, and it's a very lightweight foundation. Definitely perfect for me because it isn't something that really, like you can cake it on, like you can do layers and layers and make it quite a full coverage, but I prefer to just do a really light tint. And it just feels like a BB, like it feels pretty weightless. It feels like a moisturizer actually. And it's a very fluid foundation that you sort of warm up with your fingertips and then apply to the skin. I do tend to get not many blemishes or anything on my skin. I have been very lucky in that sense, but I do tend to get like bags under my eyes, which isn't surprising. I get a little less sleep than I probably should. Like I probably sleep like more like 5 to 6 hours a night as opposed to like your recommended 7 to 8. So I do get bags, and I think it also is a genetic thing. Whoa, that's really loud. My husband's texting me from downstairs. That's hilarious. It is also a genetic thing. Like I always have been a little bit prone to having dark circles. So at the moment, like I feel like the foundation it's sort of enough to cover it, but I probably will go in with a little bit of concealer today. This is actually Heidi's shade too. I've just put my pasty 6-year-old, 7-year-old's concealer for her dancing on my under eyes, and I look like a ghost. I think this in itself, you guys, should tell you that I am absolutely not a makeup person at all. Like I like to wear makeup, but it doesn't mean that I'm particularly good at putting it on. Okay, I'm working with natural lighting at the moment, which is difficult because the sun is coming up. So, you know, you're gonna have changes in light because of that. And I've got a big window right here, which is probably making my face go a little bit blown out. So foundation and concealer I generally have been setting in with my fingers just because I like the way that it melts into the skin, but obviously I'm using clean hands to do it because I don't want, I don't know, you don't want to be putting yucky stuff all over your face, I guess. So I'll just quickly put some foundation back in under my eyes so I look a little less like a weird ghost creature. That's a bit better. Oh my gosh. This is already off to a great start. Well done, Ash. This is why I can't do get ready with me. I cannot focus on more than one thing at once and get confused and put the wrong concealer on. And B, I'm just not very good at makeup. On another note, this is mine and James's bedroom. It is currently extremely bare because I want to do a video next week, I hope, where I sort of revamp it a little bit. I saw a bed recently that I just fell in love with, and I was like, I want to DIY that. Like I want to try and do a version of that DIY at home and do a video on it. It sort of made me change the whole way I wanted my room to be set up. And even though we didn't have too much in our room before, I did have a very clear picture of everything that I wanted to go into the room. I'm such an indecisive person, it takes me forever to make a decision, but now I'm so hell-bent on the idea that I have and I'm ready gung-ho to do it. But it does mean that this video is incredibly plain, so bear with me. Hopefully by the next video or the video after that, I can have like a nice little setup for you. I do actually have a video which is mostly filmed, like almost completely filmed, of Archie's bedroom being done start to finish, which I'd actually really like to get up this week. It's gonna be a bit of an edit, I'm sure, because I filmed the whole house, like in a bare house tour, which is actually one of the most requested videos I've had from you guys, is the house tour. Trust me, I'm getting on it. I just wasn't sure how I wanted to structure it, but I think the way that I will do it is I filmed an entire empty house tour, and what I'm gonna do is break each room apart and take that footage from the emptiness and show you all the footage I've collected over the last year or so of putting pieces in and changing things up to make them what they are today. And Archie's room is pretty much complete. Like you know, you're constantly adding to a home and constantly changing it and making it your own. But Archie's room right now is so, I'm pretty happy with it. It's very much Archie and he absolutely loves it, which is the main thing. And I have got a few other videos planned, you know, around house stuff that I'd really like to do, like obviously our room, and then I've got like Heidi and Louie's room that I'd like to do. But if you guys are digging that structure, then let me know, because I think that if I do like a full empty house tour, that video is going to be so long. So I figured if I break it up room to room like that and then just try and do like a room each week or something, then that's a nice way to show you guys, you know, where we started and how we got to here. I mean, if you guys are keen, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep those videos as home videos. If anyone is ever thinking of building, like, it is a stressful process, but it is so worth it. And being able to make something that is like completely yours is so, I don't know. It was just a really great feeling. So I'm just going to set that is so nice and refreshing. So as you can see with my base, it is nothing really to write home about. I'm just going super basic. Don't get me wrong, I really do love like the full glam look as well, particularly if you're going out somewhere special or it's like a night event or whatever. But considering we're going out to a local breakfast joint, I definitely think that less is more today. Catch my drift? I think at the moment, just finding balance is one of the goals and one of the things that I'm working on at the moment. Something that I've always probably struggled with a little bit. Like I tend to feel like I'm relatively organized as a human being, but also I have like an obsessive personality. So I'm like all or nothing on one thing, and I need to learn to really balance myself across all things. I think that's actually a problem that a lot of people have though, like just learning to juggle in life, you know? Maybe it's just society in general that we're just getting so much more busy that everybody just has a lot on, and being able to balance it can be a huge struggle, which is I think why there's such a huge push now more towards like health and fitness and like mental well-being, because everybody is getting into this place of like depression and anxiety and everything, and getting into ruts because we have so much on our plates that, yeah, like I feel like finding balance in life is something that is big for everybody, and increasingly so. P.S. hair is disgusting. I really need to go and get it done. That's another thing where I need to work out balance in my life. I need to find the time to go and get my hair done, because I've been making excuses about being too busy for like months now. Just a little refresher, you know? I feel like everybody needs that from time to time. I'll just brush out my brows a little bit. I actually have really wanted to try the soap brows, you guys. I've seen a lot of people doing those at the moment, and I love that look, like the natural sort of fuzzy eyebrows. But I went looking for some clear soap because it said on the video I was watching that you've got to use clear bar soap, and I didn't have any. I've only got like a white bar soap, so I don't want to end up having white Santa eyebrows, so we're going to leave that today. Anyway, moving on. So another one of the questions that I have been getting from you guys, which sort of relates back, I suppose, to just finding balance in life and finding time for yourself, is my body changes over the last few months. P.S. this only goes to show that I'm absolutely not a makeup person, because I'm literally having to hold my eyelid down to put my eyeshadow on, which I do every single time, and I've never seen anybody else do that, but I cannot put on eyeshadow without holding my eyelid down. I think it's because I have hooded eyes, or I think I have hooded eyelids. So yes, I've had some questions about my body changes over the last year. Back when I was living with mum and dad, I did put on a little bit of weight. Well, actually I put on quite a little bit of weight. Like I'd sort of slowly put on weight just through, you know, just bad habits and everything in the lead up to moving to mum and dad's. After I had Louis, I never really got back to my pre-pregnancy weight. I was about 3 or 4 kilos heavier than what my pre-pregnancy weight was. And I did go to the gym and work out, and sort of, I got a lot fitter for a while there. But then as, you know, life changed and we sort of moved house and everything, that became a little bit more difficult. So I stopped going to the gym, and obviously we moved in with mum and dad to build this house. And I think just living in an environment where you sort of feel like you're at home but never truly at home, if that makes sense, and you have less sort of pull over what you're eating for dinner, you just sort of eat what everybody else is eating. I wasn't feeling myself for the longest time, and it was such a bad cycle to get into, because when I don't feel like myself, that makes me, I don't know, I felt like that made me worse. Like I felt like I would eat worse foods and just develop worse habits, because I just felt like I was in this rut. I don't know if you guys can relate, but I feel like it's such a common problem in these days, in this day and age, just in terms of like people finding a balance in their lives, that it's so easy to fall into a rut and unhealthy habits. And when you are so busy, it becomes really hard to make big changes in your life to improve your habits, which is what I found. And I have heard similar from a few other people, but that is 100% how I felt in that time. So what I ended up doing late last year, so I think it was about November, is I went in and had a round of laser lipolysis through a system called Sculpture. And it's kind of like cool sculpting in a way, only rather they use like heat. Just genetically, naturally, I tend to have not too much cellulite, but I do have a collection of cellulite on the backs of my thighs. And no matter what size I am, that even, you know, even when I was at my smallest, I still had it there. And that's just genetics. Like, just because you're a small person doesn't mean that you're not going to get cellulite, you know what I mean? And cellulite is something which is famously terrible to try and get rid of for those unlucky people that tend to get a lot of it. So what the Sculpture does is you go in and they attach the system to the area which you want to reduce, and it sort of applies like a heating and cooling pattern, and that melts away the fat cells, but they don't go away straight away. So it's not like your standard like surgical liposuction where they take the fat out and then you're done, it's gone, you lose some weight. They don't even claim to make you lose weight. It's more just to reduce places like cellulite. And I found really good results from it. Like, I was really happy with what the changes I saw in my body and the changes I saw in my mental state. Like, I went in and had that treatment and they were very clear with me that if you're actually putting on weight at the time, you're not going to see results from the treatment. So when I did actually have it, I felt like that sort of ticked something off in my brain where I was like, you know, now that I'm having this treatment, I really should use this opportunity like to really make sure that I'm eating healthy, make sure that I'm fueling my body with good foods. And they did say that, you know, the process does work over sort of 2 to 12 weeks, depending on how slow or fast your body's natural lymphatic system is, because it works out with your natural, you know, metabolism. And because I have such a naturally slow metabolism, I was like, okay, well, let's start eating foods that will be better for my body and better for my system. Foods like, you know, my favorite foods like hot chips and things like that. They taste amazing, but they take a lot longer to work out of your system. So I was trying to eat a lot more of the foods which go, you know, move through your body a lot faster and give your body a whole lot more nutrients. On top of that, I actually also found out at around the same time that I had like quite an intolerance to lactose. Like, I'd been suspecting it for quite a while, but it got to a point where it was really bad, and I went away to a hens weekend and looked pregnant. Like, it was not good, and the whole time my belly just hurt. Like, it was not a good feeling. And when I went to my doctor, he was like, go on an elimination diet to see what you think it is, take dairy out of your diet, and then if the problems go away, put dairy back in your diet. If the problems come back, take dairy out of your diet again. That probably means it's dairy, which is fairly straightforward. And that's exactly what I did, and dairy was a problem. So I cut dairy out of my diet completely. You know, every now and then I might have like a little cupcake or something which has had like a butter or a milk in it. But as far as drinking like tea and coffee with milk in it, or eating cheeses or ice cream, pizza, like all the good foods, I sort of have cut out. And at first it was hard, but now I feel a lot better for it, and I don't crave those foods anymore. I actually do crave a lot more of the healthier foods that I eat, like fruit and nuts, raw veggies, and like dips and things like that. I used to hear people talk like that and think that they were absolutely full of it. Like, I'd be like, how on earth can you crave fruit and nuts over something delicious? I think when you haven't had it in your body for a while, you sort of realize that you don't like it as much. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you can see, I've just smudged that. And because I'm just going out to breakfast and I'm gonna put some lashes on, I'm just gonna leave it. Anyway, so since that time, I have lost a fair bit of weight. Like, I got on my healthy eating plan after about 3 months. I'd lost about 9 kilograms, which is I don't know how many pounds. I'll figure it out and I'll put it up here. It's quite a few pounds. And after that, I sort of, once the kids went back to school, I felt like I had, you know, I was ready to step it up a little bit of a notch. And I started doing cardio in the mornings, just like infrequently. And then by sort of March, the end of March, I felt like I was just getting so much out of doing cardio, you know, like with music going and just at home in my safe space. I was enjoying it so much that I was doing it about 6 times a week, or I still am. I did get sick for about a week and a half or 2 weeks there. And so I didn't really work out as much, but I've been pretty consistent, and I just loved the way it made me feel. And once again, when I heard other people saying that, I'm like, oh, but pushing your body for that long, like it'd just make you feel puffed out and sweaty and gross. But I honestly enjoyed it. Like, it was more dance cardio fitness, which is something which I have always loved, but that's something that works for me. I started going on a few more walks, and I'm hoping to kick that up again now. I sort of slowed down on over winter, but I added a lot more of that into my daily regimen. And even though I did put on a little more weight again, I put on about 3 or 4 kilos over winter, which is a bit, but at the same time, winter season, you tend to put on a little bit. I had sort of added exercise into my schedule, and I was learning to adjust my food to be able to cope with the new exercise that I'd added into my diet, and finding a balance there. Apologies if this is getting incredibly long-winded again, you guys. You know me, I just don't know how to condense, and maybe I can figure it out to some extent in editing, but I'm not holding my breath. I went back in progress over winter. Like, I put on a little bit of weight, but I was also working out a lot. So some of that, I feel, would have been muscle as well when you're working out that much. And you know, it's winter, you sort of tend to lean more towards the warmer foods. You sort of tend to stay at home more, whereas in summer, I never stay at home. I'm always out and just enjoying the sunshine and all of that. Hang on, okay, now that those lashes are on, I'm just gonna go and get my hair straightener, because this is the hair situation at the moment. Actually, can I get away with this? It's looking incredibly dry. I have natural hair, you guys, where it can either be out here or a little more subtle. Sometimes I can get away with tousled beach waves, and other times it looks like a nice beach tussle in the morning, and then by the evening I look like feral. It does look very dry on the ends, but you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna go with it, because I really want this video to not go on forever, and I'm sure you guys don't want this video to go on forever as well. But quickly getting back to what I was saying, I feel like even though I had that sort of backward progress, or the scales were telling me I was having backward progress, but really I was probably putting on muscle as well, is that it didn't make me feel like all was lost. It didn't make me feel like, okay, well, I've fallen off the bandwagon, I might as well just go gung-ho now. I still felt like I wanted to have all of the same foods. Like, don't get me wrong, there's still days where I'm like, oh, I really want Macca's chips. Like, I definitely eat McDonald's chips probably 3 or 4 times a week, because that is one of my go-tos. But I eat them and then I don't feel like anything else. I'll eat those as like a little snack or something, and then I'll go and have, you know, a big salad or some veggies or like a wrap or something for lunch, and then I feel full. I've never been in that mindset before. And so I don't want to come off as preachy, because I definitely don't feel like I am an expert, because absolutely not. Like, do not take my advice, because the only experience I'm coming from is experience with me and my little journey. But when I, you know, heard people talking like that before, I never really believed them. It just seemed unachievable, like to get myself into a place where I didn't crave junk food as much, or I actually wanted to work out. And you know, I'm now in a position where I sort of balanced out my diet and my workout routine, and once I did that, I sort of started losing weight quite quick again after I plateaued for a few months there in the last 6 weeks. So that was including a period where I was sick there, and I did lose about 2 kilos in that week where I was sick. So even though that put me forward like a week in terms of like weight loss, it took me back as well, because I wasn't working out. So I felt like I was already, like straight away, just getting a little bit I could handle a lot less when I was working out. I think I've lost about 7 kilos in the last 7 weeks. And that was just through coming out of that plateau, and it's now spring, so I've started to get out and walking a little bit more, stepping up my workouts a little bit more, and it was obviously including that tiny little 6 period. So I am now down 13 kilograms, or about 30 pounds in total. I'm probably going to add weights and things into my routine now because we do have a home gym, and James has been trying to get me to do weights for the longest time. I feel like I'm at that point now where I could cope with doing weights maybe once or twice a week, but I just feel like I'm happy. I feel like I'm myself. I feel motivated. I feel ready to go. I know I've taken forever to explain this, but if you want to see like what I've been doing in my workouts or what I've been eating in my diet plan, I did film little bits of me getting my sculpture treatments done. So if you'd like to see a full video on that, so exactly how it works and my before and afters from that, which are insane, then let me know because I'm more than happy to do more updates on that. Moving on, okay, I think I'm gonna go and just put some moisturizer and some shimmer on. So outfit so far today is just a real daggy at home outfit, but we're going to change that. I have tan this week, but it didn't go as dark because I didn't leave it on for as long. So I am just going to add some bronze shimmer on, and I haven't put on my daily moisturizer for today. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to pop into some bikini bottoms so I can get the whole situation, and then I'm going to get ready into my outfit for today. So I'll touch base in a sec. This is the Loving Tan body shimmer, and it's quite good. Like, you wouldn't want to wear it in water because it would come off. It's just like a temporary tanning body shimmer, and I feel like it just adds a little bit more color, particularly now that, you know, I've done my tan, but it isn't as dark as what I would usually like it. So if you just want like that little bit of extra color, this is a good way to go. It also doesn't smell like tan, and it gives you the glow. So that's what we're going for today. We're going for a glow. P.S. you guys, this is not a sponsored video in any way, shape or form. These are all just products that I like, products that I use. Moving on to the outfit. Okay, so I've just got myself a plain black tee. Just nice and basic. We've got a little leopard print skirt, and I think I might even do a little tie with the tee. And then tuck it in under there like that. So we have got a little bit of, belly showing, but nothing that's, I don't know, nothing that's overly inappropriate in my opinion. And then I've got these earrings, which are like a tortoise shell and gold. And I think, considering I am gonna try and get away with having my hair down, I might throw those in. I'm thinking I'm going to take sort of this blonde but bring it up a lot higher. I don't love myself as like a complete blonde. Like a few years ago when I ended up going really blonde, I had a few videos on that. I don't think it suits me because I do have a darker skin tone. I feel like maybe if I did it, maybe if I brought it up with foils or something, it might blend a little bit better. Or maybe if I went a different color to what I had before, maybe if I went more of an ashier color, it might suit me a little bit more. And then I also have this little stacker necklace, which I think I'll chuck on. Oh my gosh, I cannot put on necklaces. Please tell me I'm not the only one who simply cannot put on a necklace or a bra without doing it up at the front and then swapping it around. Tanning my back, that's something I can do with ease. Like, I can have no problem with tanning all the way over my back and everything. But you asked me to put a necklace on or a bra on without actually looking at it. Okay, there we go. I think I'm now just going to chub on some chunky white shoes just to make it look a little bit more like casual, and I will touch base with you guys. I wear these shoes, these training shoes, everywhere because they're just so easy, so comfy, and they have this big platform on them. And because I am like 5'1", 5'2", I tend to need a bit of a platform, and I'm feeling like we are ready to roll.
Before you came round, my heart would never beat much faster. before you came round. I was ready to slow down. Before you came round, I was heading for a small disaster. Before you came round, I was ready to blow me down.
And that is the final going out for today look. Very, very basic, nothing special, certainly not a makeup artist, but really the purpose of the video was more to just touch base with you guys and get you guys a little bit up to date on what's been going on, put a few questions out there to see what you guys are interested in seeing more of. Yeah, just get back into the swing of everything, you know, like I said, like bringing the vlogging back into my daily habits and my daily routines, just like with anything. So I hope you are enjoying it. It's definitely a very different style to what I used to do. I really, really loved reading all of the lovely comments that I've had on my most recent videos. I really appreciate them. You guys are truly, truly the sweetest. So I cannot thank you enough. And with that being said, I'll see you guys later. Bye.